Hey y'all, thank you for joining me for this very special and impromptu. I guess we're gonna call this a bonus reading. I promised you guys that I was going to explore the karmic energies that were coming up in my downloads. Because many of you are having stressful experiences with individuals, relationships that came to not necessarily be sustainable or to be in your life for the long haul, but to teach you a lesson and help you to expand and elevate. And so, if you are kind of new to the journey, you may not understand what the fuck a karmic even is. And so I thought it important to take some time out to express or share with you guys my thoughts and experience and research on karmic energies. So I first want to say that karmic energies are not always like romantic connections or sexual connections. Parents can be karmic. Friends can be karmic. Coworkers, supervisors, work environments can be karmic. If you drew it to you, you attracted it to you because of the level that you're vibrating on, and it's meant to teach you a lesson so that you can raise your vibration, is karmic. And some of us have been born into karmic situations, hence having karmic parents, karmic siblings. It is said that we choose our parents, and as part of our sacred contract, before we incarnate or reincarnate, so that we can learn whatever lesson it is that best suits the unfolding of our journey and our purpose. So with that being said, hard pill to swallow, parents can be karmic. Not all parents are loving, nurturing, healthy dynamics. And so if you resonate with any of this, because we're talking about all encompassing karmic situations and not just love relationships. If it resonates with any of this, you definitely want to stay tuned, because I've already pulled the main energies that wanted to come out regarding karmic connections. And I went ahead and pulled some cards so that I could get familiar with the message that wanted to come forward. I didn't even need these cards. I knew this already. So it's just confirmation for me. And as I express it to y'all, it'll be confirmation for y'all. But I'm also going to, during our time here together, pull from the sacred self-care, because if you're not aware that you're in a karmic situation, you just know you stress the fuck out. The awareness may help you some, but it helps even more after having the awareness or the confirmation to have some tools or some advice on how to navigate it. And self-care is definitely something you want to prioritize as you are navigating those karmic connections. And I'm also going to clarify with the some stressless cards that I have on hand. So I do want to suggest that you guys check out this video that I was watching earlier, and I shared it on the community board. And it's Jay Shetty. Not sure if you guys are familiar with him. It's his podcast, and he interviewed, I don't know if it's Stephen or Stefan LeBeau. So he's like relationship expert. I'm familiar with some of his content, never read any of his books, but I've seen like his clips and stuff on social media. I'm not really big on the relationship experts, but I actually like him. Unlike say a what's that nigga name that was down here giving women advice about toxic men, and kind of find out he was the head nigga in charge of the toxic man gang, Derrick Jackson. Unlike Derrick Jackson, I never sipped the Derrick Jackson Kool-Aid. I smelt the karmic on him somehow. I'm intuitive, so maybe that's what it was. Cause it was like I couldn't put my finger on what I didn't rock with about him, but I just knew I wasn't a Derrick Jackson fan. And then here he was exploited or exposed for being a fraud, and he gave some decent advice sometimes. You know, a clock is right at least 2 times a day, they say, but he didn't walk it like he talked. You know what I'm saying? He didn't live that life, and here it is. His ex-wife done exposed him. But that's what karmics do, y'all. They wear a mask. Their life is a facade. They do not value authenticity. A lot of times they are aware of their wounding, their trauma, that there's something there deeply rooted within them that keeps them low vibrational. And yet, for a lot of them, they are not willing to do the work. And instead of doing the work, they want to blow smoke up your ass, up our ass, or at least try to, so that they can accomplish whatever agenda it is that they have. Karmics tend to be very emotionally manipulative. Karmic connections are those connections you find yourself in where one or both parties are codependent or narcissist, or both. You have those connections where you have covert narcissistically people, which I learned about that through a friendship, where there are individuals who, like narcissists, thrive off of attention. Like their addiction is attention, and they're very like self-centered and selfish, and go through to any means to exalt themselves, and they are takers and not givers. And when they do give, they love bomb, and they just do the most, and then that fades and they start to gaslighting you. And trust me, I feel like I'm the expert on narcissistic relationships, because I have survived a very narcissistic relationship of 3 years. It's actually a little longer than 3 years. We were in a committed relationship for 3 years. I think we were friends for like 2. But the whole time he was a narcissistic asshole. And him being a narcissistic asshole, he was drawn into my life because I was a codependent asshole. As a result of my upbringing, the lack of emotional attention, people pleasing, and just not independent. Like, I was independent financially, I was independent in a lot of ways, but emotionally I was codependent. And when you are codependent and you're a people pleaser, and you don't like confrontation, and all of the traits that go along with being codependent, you attract narcissistic people because they thrive on attention and you thrive on giving attention. So y'all go hand in hand. And that being the case, I have a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and experience as it relates to karmic relationships and those type of dynamics. One thing I could say about healing from those connections, because I've had more than one, but that was the worst. Therapy was extremely helpful. Tarot changed my life. The combination of the two changed my life. Sound healing, getting sound baths on a regular, and now I offer them as a service to help people heal, was very helpful in breaking up that energy, Reiki, just helping me to vibrate at a higher frequency. And now I'm at a point where I'll be damned if I go through any of that shit again. And I'll be damned if I show up in this world as that person who went through and accepted that type of shit. So I want to help you all to identify some of the ways where you're either connecting with the karmic, or maybe you're the karmic. Because I truly believe that we can shift from those, I'm not going to say roles, but at some point, we're karmic. At some points, we can operate in divine femininity. At some points, we can operate in divine masculinity. At some points, we operate as our integrated self, and that's the goal. Like, you want to operate as your divine integrated self and embody that energy all the time. That's the goal. But as we are learning and growing and navigating this, our self-healing journey, our self-empowerment journey, or even just coming more into being our true authentic selves, it's a journey. It's a journey and not a trip. You know, journey, it take a while. A trip can be quick. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, and it behooves us to hold ourselves accountable and own where we have been the karmic in somebody's life. I've been the karmic. I remember when me and this particular guy broke up. He had cheated on me, child. And we was staying together. I had just moved in. I hadn't been there for like 5 months. He cheated. And I done moved out. I took the curtains, the broom, the mop, unscrewed the seats on the chairs, the sugar and the, you know how you have the sugar and the flour containers? Like the canister that labels the sugar, flour, whatever. I took that, put the shit in a bag, didn't label it, nigga, figure it out. He called me, talk about what you do with the broom. Tell that bitch to buy you a broom. Karmic, petty, with the shits. Do you hear me? That man went out of town to Florida on a family trip. And by the time he got back, I had moved all that shit out. And I was in Florida on vacation at the beach, healing my wounds. That's a long-ass story. We'll revisit it one day as we dive deeper into these types of dynamics. But I just want to share with y'all that I am not ashamed to say I have been the karmic, because had I been operating in my divine feminine energy, granted, I took that shit because everything I took was mine. And the seats that I took apart, I had upholstered them. So in my mind, I'm leaving you, we doing a factory reset. I'm leaving you with all the shit you had before you got with me, because you about to see that you didn't have shit before you got with me. You know, that was my train of thought. And me now, I'm just gone. You can have the shit. I am abundant. I will get it all back. I don't want to be bothered. You can ask my most recent ex. When I'm done, I'm done. Speaking of karmics, when you done, you done. You don't do all that back and forth, hooting and hollering and rah-rah shit, all that drama, slicing tires and busting windows and all of that. Like, unless you having to get violent to protect yourself, you're not on that petty get back and forth, because it's low vibrational. And we are thriving. We are aiming to keep our vibration high because we got better shit to do. We have purposes to live out. And so, had I been in my divine feminine energy, like, I would have walked away from that situation and just been done. But not only was I not done, and I really thought I wasn't, I was at a all-time low. That was one of the lowest points of my life. I definitely was going through a dark night of the soul. But I still went back. I wasn't done. God had to put the nail in the coffin. You know what I'm saying? But that when I was done, I was on some, I don't want to talk. Stay away from me. Go your way. I'm going back. Because for one thing, when you're dealing with a karmic, there's no parting ways and being friends. Because now you just got you a karmic friend. They still toxic. They still not in alignment with you as your higher self. They still not in alignment with where you're headed. You still have not learned the lesson if you're keeping them around. Now, if this is a parent, I am of the belief that just because a person is your parent does not mean that you have to be around them. You have to do for them. You have to pour into them. Parent or no parent, they should respect you, honor you, and show you love in accordance to your own level of self-love. And so what I mean by that is, if as a expression of self-love, you don't demean and down talk yourself, you damn sure don't let your mom and them do it, or your daddy do it, or your siblings do it. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't, period, because that's abusive. However, it's sometimes hard to put those boundaries into place with other people in terms of honoring you and respect when you haven't shown yourself that honor and respect, and therefore show up in a way that says, I govern myself like this, I love myself like this, I treat myself like this, so you for damn sure ain't gonna treat me no different. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to consider when it comes to parents, family, period. You love them and you want the relationships to thrive, but there comes a point where you have to accept when it's not, and you have to draw your boundaries. And so if that boundary is, I can only talk to you on Wednesdays because any other day of the week you make my ass itch, or whatever it looks like, whatever the boundary looks like for you, it's important that you, with any relationship, karmic, sacred, whatever, friendships, whatever, express what the boundary is, express the consequence of not abiding to or respecting that boundary. And then when they don't respect that boundary, if they don't respect that boundary, if they cross that boundary, you then have the responsibility to show yourself self-love and to show people by example that you love yourself by upholding whatever the consequence that you said was in place is. We be missing those last two parts. Everybody talking about boundaries. And as a culture, people who have gone through struggle and oppression and all of the things, it's important that I ain't even told y'all about the cause. We 20 minutes in. It's important that we do know where we need to draw boundaries and how to draw or have our throat chakra healed enough to express what our boundaries are. But we don't need to negate the fact that we need to also express what the consequence of not following that boundary is. So my thing is, like, cheating is a boundary for me. If you cheat on me, we done. If that's the case in my love relationship, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it is or that it won't be or it could be or whatever, but I'm just saying, if that's the case, if I say cheating is a boundary for me in this connection, I'm not tolerating no outside nothing. And the person, and then I express to them, and if you cheat, I have to express what the consequence of that is. We're done. You know what I'm saying? I can no longer be in this dynamic because the trust is broken, whatever. Woo. When they do that, I did have the responsibility of upholding that boundary, because otherwise, how do I expect them to take me seriously? And that's not me honoring myself, unless I done change my mind and I want to set a different boundary. But that gets messy, you know what I'm saying, when you start doing it. So it's important that we learn how to set our boundaries and stand on them, regardless of who we are standing on them with, from a place of honoring ourselves. It's not selfish, that is self-full, that's self-preserving. If you want to live a long, healthy, quality, purposeful life, this is radical self-care. Especially like being mindful of your energy and setting those boundaries, and implement radical self-care in your life, doing the things that may not please everybody, but it's what's best for you, and it's what's best for seeing out your life purpose. It's what's best for your connection with the divine. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure, when you stress the fuck out dealing with these karmic energies, it's a distraction. Yeah, you supposed to learn a lesson from it. It has a purpose. But where we fuck up at is that we let them go too far and stay too long. And so we're needed to be mindful of things in relationships having an expiration date, taking the time out to reflect so that we can pinpoint the lesson and transmute the pain or the aggravation, the frustration into wisdom. And yeah, we just want to stress less. As a matter of fact, prior to turning on the camera, I was led to burn anti-stress incense. So I'm bringing that energy into the message. And I was led to get my stress less cards, because y'all stressing out there. Somebody listening to me is like, what the fuck? And also, it was something else that was coming through. Oh, I was meditating and praying. And, yeah, I went into like a deep trance state when I was praying prior to turning on the camera and greeting y'all. And what was coming through to me was that what you all are experiencing is just the result of you expanding and going through the dark night of the soul. And what came out? Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please. Shield your energy. Look beneath the surface. Represented by the number 32, which breaks down to a 5. Fives representing change, conflict, chaos, because that's what's going on around y'all. And when you're in these karmic connections with these people who wear these masks, who have agendas at cross purpose to yours, who are not in alignment with where you are expanding and elevating and growing, that conflict and chaos and confusion comes to teach you a lesson. But you're needing to shield your energy, and you're needing to be aware that there are things going on that you're not privy to. Karmics are sneaky. They gonna cry to get a reaction out of you. They gonna lie so that the narrative turns out in their favor. They are manipulative. They are users. Karmics do not want to see you doing better than them, and if so, only so that they benefit from your shine. They are clout chasers. All of the things. But you attract that. We attract that when we vibrate in some way on that level. And we need to learn from, okay, when I met this person, where was I at with my energy? You know what I'm saying? What about this person was that made me open to entertaining this shit? Or like with a parent, you got to go back to your childhood and think about what went on in your childhood that now has you still not interacting with, but feeding the monster in your karmic parent. What have you been taught culturally about adult parent child dynamics that are contributing to you being in a karmic connection with your parent? The good thing about all of this shit is you can change it. You can change it. You just have to work on healing yourself. And honestly, as you raise your vibration, a lot of this shit, when it comes to karmic connections, it'll be intolerable. You refuse. Like now, I refuse. I'm so proud of myself because these lessons, they'll come back around. They'll come back around in other relationships. You'll be able to recognize the traits. And whereas, like for me, whereas you may have dealt with the toxicity for 3 or 4 years, you'll see it in 3 or 4 months of getting to know somebody and being like, oh, hell no. No, thank you. And you do it. You're able to separate yourself from those situations with love and Christ consciousness. Look, I ain't trying to argue, fuss, and cuss with you. This is just unacceptable behavior for me. So I'm on exit stage left. I wish you a nice life. Take care. Toodles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you able to do what's best for you without all the rah-rah shit, without carrying a lot of baggage with you about having had that experience, and you're just able to move forward with the lesson and with the wisdom. And ultimately the lesson is a blessing, because 9 times out of 10 you able to move forward, and like, you ain't gotta repeat that cycle of constantly going through that dumb shit and for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I am gonna read the message of shield your energy. I think it's very significant that it has the animal totem of the frog here. And at the top of the deck, we had number 16, expansion, which breaks down to a 7. Here we are in this 7th month of July, with all this 7 energy, with the 7-7 portal and 7-1-7 energy. And I've been seeing 7-11 a lot, just 7-7-7. You guys are expanding, which means that which used to be okay and used to be comfortable with, and that you used to be able to survive in, is no longer comfortable anymore. You're being stretched and you're taking up more space. And as you take up more space, you're going to make some people uncomfortable. And it's some shit that you used to be cool with that you just ain't cool with no more. Y'all watch that video of Jay Shetty and Stefan LeBeau. I think that's his name, child. I hope I ain't butchering that man's name. But they talk about that. They talk about expanding, and how as you grow in your connections with people, it's some shit that might have been cool at first, that as you evolve, it just ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? So it says expansion. Educate your mind and senses. As you are educating yourself in these connections, as you are taking time to reflect, as you are sitting back observing how people treat you, how you showing up in relationships, you like, no, I like this part, but I don't like that at all. It used to be cool. I see how it may have served me in the past, but that's not gonna fly as I move forward. So you are pushing beyond the boundaries and the limits that you once were able to survive in, so that you can thrive. And at the bottom of the deck, we have, represented by the number 11. Told you I've been seeing 7-11 like crazy. Dark night of the soul. Life brings new meaning. Going through the dark night of the soul simply means that you are awakening to all of the places in your life, all of the things in your life that kept you bound. You're realizing that where you thought you knew it all, you didn't know shit. It's so much more out here unfolding as the truth for you, and you're getting to know more of yourself. And it's called the dark night of the soul because that can be a dark space to be in. But you can see there's light present. You're able to see what lies in the shadow and bring it to light so that you can alchemize it, turn that old thing into something new and more valuable. So you have life brings new meaning. This message really is reminding me of the divine masculine and feminine readings that I recently did. And so we definitely are on point. I'm going to read the message of shield your energy, and then I'm going to get us a self-care and stress less message. Because if you are resonating with these descriptions of what it means to be in a karmic connection, you're needing to amp up your self-care. You're needing to pay attention to your stress levels and your nervous system, the health of your nervous system. You're needing to shield your energy, protect your energy, take you some Epsom salt baths, get you some sage, clean your house, take the time to declutter and just get rid of old stuff that has stagnant energy attached to it. But not just stuff, people, relationships, patterns, behaviors. Pay attention to how you showing up and where you may need to get rid of some ways that you've been showing up in your relationships or to yourself, in your relationship to yourself. It says the frog is a diverse amphibian living all over the world. The frog thrives in clean habitats. Its life is a process of metamorphosis from egg to tadpole and then to adult frog. Frogs are often seen as the ultimate rainmaker, with the exotic and intrinsic sounds of their beautiful sacred song echoing through their native bushland. This slippery creature cannot endure a toxic environment and requires unpolluted habitats to thrive. In order for you to succeed right now, you must clear and screen your surroundings. Closely connected to the moon cycles, just like that card in, what was it? Was it the divine feminine reading where we was talking about? No, it was the divine masculine reading. And one of those images, there was a guy, but he was connecting to the moon cycles. If y'all haven't checked that reading out, check out. It was either the divine masculine or the divine feminine reading, but we were talking about the moon cycles. So the frog operates according to the moon cycles as well. It says the frog encourages you to release your emotions in a healthy way, washing away any negative physical or mental energies that restrict you from having a positive and peaceful life. So like the frog who croaks, many of us are needing to use our throat chakra in order to express ourselves. Like there's some stuff we've been holding in, how we feel about certain things and certain people, and we're needing to get that out. That's part of this decluttering process, and it's what's going to help you to live a more positive and peaceful life. Encouraging you to look deeper into a situation to find the truth of the matter. The frog will challenge you to release anything that is holding you back from success. I told you. Them damn karmics, distractions. Distractions, liars, manipulators, cheaters. You may be feeling swamped right now, swimming through murky water, but just like the frog, you may need a long rest or to hibernate from others while you gather your senses and a fresh perspective. Don't be scared to press pause. You know what I'm saying? Before you experience burnout or like complete energetic overwhelm. Everything is energy. If you're dealing with a karmic person, baby, they will run you low. Do you hear me? I got stories. Karmics will run you low. They'll have your ass around here with headaches, back aches, ass aches. Like, dealing with them, for one, is confusing, because on one hand you want to love and care for them and they show you a loving, caring side, but then on the other hand they're like some of the most toxic connections you've ever seen in your life. And at this point on the journey, it's extremely toxic because you've raised your vibration and you have higher aspirations, so that type of low vibrational shit really just repulses you. So there's the conflict between the two, because you've seen a good side to this person, so you know they have the capacity to show that, or to be that person, but it's inauthentic. And it's not what you're getting from them the majority of the time. Or even if you're getting that from them the majority of the time, when you do get their toxicity, or they spew their venom or their manipulative ways towards you, it's overwhelming. I mean, you shouldn't want that anyway, even if it ain't overwhelming. It's low vibrational, period. So just be mindful of how you are allowing that stress in your life, because we always have a choice, and we be wanting to put the accountability and the blame on the other person, but at the end of the day, we're swimming in those murky waters. Yeah, they bring the murky water to the table, but you ain't got to drink it. You know what I'm saying? So it says, right now, the gentle energy of the frog totem is requesting you to look deep beneath the surface. Not everything is what it appears. Influence from toxic environments is suffocating your natural gifts and talents that need to be nurtured. You can't nurture them because you're too busy entertaining this shit. You require a healthy, supportive, and loving environment for you to grow and thrive as an individual. Now is the time to take care of your health, releasing emotions, and examining your own energy and how it interacts with others. Use the element of water to unblock your energy fields and create a smooth flow of Kundalini for personal healing and growth. Kundalini, for those of you who are not familiar, is that energy that sits at the base of your spine. It's said to kind of be in the shape of like a snake in a infinity symbol. But as you evolve and elevate and grow, that energy starts to make its way up to your crown chakra. So it is what helps you to be in alignment. It expresses itself as sexual energy, passionate energy. Sometimes you may feel yourself getting hot, but that is your creativity, because sexual energy and creativity is the same. You may find yourself being more, as they say, like in heat, but you're to find healthy ways to exert that energy, or sit with that energy to express that energy. For many of you, that may look like semen retention, or sacred sex, sex with a sacred partner, where the energy that you are letting out is being used in a healthy way, opposed to creating a soul tie. So you want to be mindful of who you entertaining sexually, and how you work with your Kundalini energy. There's Kundalini yoga, which I've done. That shit is intense, but it's dope. To help you as you move through what's called a Kundalini awakening or Kundalini rising. And it says, find your own sacred song. You can also find like Kundalini yoga videos on YouTube as well. Call to others who share your passions and interests, where you can support and renew your inner fire. So this message of shielding your energy is telling you, yeah, you need to spend some time to yourself to like work on raising your vibration or clearing your energy of those karmic toxic energies that you have been entertaining, and you need to draw the boundaries to not entertain them at all, or in the way that you have been. But also, when you are around people, do the best you can to interact with people who help raise your vibration, who bring you joy, who you can share your gifts and wisdom with, and who provide support to you along your journey, and that you can support from your overflow once you're able to get your energy to a place of your cup runneth over. I'm not an advocate of giving from an empty cup, or when you're running on fumes. I'm not an advocate of giving from a cup that's half full. That's yours. Everything that spills from the top is for you to give to others. But I think this message also speaks to, if you're running on fumes, if your cup is half full and you have people who don't mind pouring into you when you don't have it to give, those are the people you need to not let your pride get in the way of you asking for help. We are entering Leo season. I think it started today, as a matter of fact. And as we're approaching this AA portal, many of you may find yourself having that ego death, where you're in situations where you're having to ask for the energetic, spiritual, and maybe even physical support that you need. Because a lot of times people can't give you the help that you have not made it known that you need or requested. So that's a thing as well. And there's an affirmation here. Wait a minute, I skipped a part. The shadow aspect of this is stagnation. So if you've been procrastinating or stagnant, that's because you've been distracted, or because your energy is so low because you got people around you, or a person around you, a karmic situation around you that is draining your energy. You've been untidy or hoarding. So, with hoarding, you're holding on to shit out of a place of lack. I might need this one day. Like, you won't ever be able to get it again, or like the flow of abundance in your life is limited. So that's where the hoarding comes from. And the being untidy, that's just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So you're needing to organize your thoughts, clean up your emotions by expressing yourself just off 411. And just do the internal work so that it can be reflected outside of you as well. Or sometimes when you do the work outside of you, the cleaning up, the decluttering, and the things like that, that helps shift the energy inside of you. The sacred crystal to work with is black obsidian. This came up in the divine feminine energy reading. So make sure that you guys check that one out. What was the name of that reading? It was the last one that I did before this one. I don't even remember what the name of it was, but it talked about the importance of us working with black obsidian to help protect our energy and shield our energy from low vibrational people, energies, patterns, and to assist us during our shadow work. So for angel assistance, you can work with Archangel Uriel to clear your focus, bring mental clarity, and shield you from negativity. And the affirmation is, I sing the beautiful sacred song of my heart, clear and loud for all to hear. So you may want to tap into the frog totem as well. If you have a altar, maybe you want to get you a little frog figurine, or listen to some I know they have some frequency music, meditation music that has like nature sounds. So you may be able to find one that has like frog sounds in it, or just so you can tap into that energy of being like the frog. The frog can't thrive in no mess, and neither can you. And when you're around karmic energy, that's exactly what you're doing. You're entertaining the mess, but you can't entertain the mess and then wonder why you are in a space of surviving and not thriving. You can't even focus on thriving. You're too busy putting out fires with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So as you are expanding, you definitely want to stress less, and we're going to get some advice from the stress less cards. Some practical things that you could do. Spirit, please clarify the message that is coming forward for the collective, resonating with being in karmic connections. When it comes to this work, don't discriminate. Not even against yourself. If it's you, you need to draw some boundaries with yourself. If it's me, shit, y'all, if in any way watching these readings is bothering you or offensive, stop watching them. Do what's best for you. Like, I don't want nobody around me interacting with me where anything that I'm bringing to the table is of disservice. Speak up. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person, if I say something that offends you, check me. Watch how you come to me. but tell me, you know what I'm saying? Or if I'm bothering you, or, you know, whatever the case, like, that's love. That's unconditional love. All this other shit that people be on, where you can't check them about nothing, you can't tell them where they went wrong with you, or, you know, they can't receive constructive criticism or feedback, or, you know, that's stifling. It's conditional, and it's not conducive to your growth. So you just want to be mindful of that. And I'm the type of intuitive reader, healer, whatever you want to call me, that I understand, like, I'm not for everybody. That's fine. And if that's the case, or you find yourself in a position where, okay, I'm listening to these readings that Keto do on YouTube, and they confusing me, or they taking up all my time, or whatever the case, like, fall back. Even with me, draw the boundary. My scalp's so dry. Draw the boundary and adhere to it. You know what I'm saying? Do what's best for you. Honor yourself. But it says, stress is the trash of modern life. We all generate it, but if you don't dispose of it properly, it will pile up and overtake your life. This is that same decluttering message that came up with shield your energy. Y'all are needing to get rid of some shit, some people, like, some stuff got to go. You can no longer ignore what's piling up within and around you. Because another thing that you risk happening, other than burnout, is rage. And nobody wants that. You do not want to hold this shit in, or keep these people around you to the point where you popping off. You know what I'm saying? Because there are consequences that comes with it. Now, if it happens, just understand, don't feel bad about yourself. That is a natural occurrence when you repress your emotions. But if you can get ahead of that, you want to get ahead of it, because there are people sitting in jail and in cemeteries as a result of having not disposed of the stress that they knew they was carrying. So it's important that you do that work. At the top of the deck, you have pause and remember every single event in your life, especially the difficult lessons, have made you smarter, stronger, and wiser than you were yesterday. Do not take for granted your journey and what you've been through and what you're going through. There has been a point in time where you were in a worse position than you in now, on the other side of the coin, and you turned that shit into wisdom. You transmuted and alchemized that shit, and you're in a better position than you once were. And you're being called to do the same thing now. So instead of repeating the same cycles by taking for granted what you've experienced along your journey, you're being asked to end some of those tough cycles, take the lesson with you, take the wisdom with you, and to move forward in a better headspace, a better heart space. Yeah, you went through it. It made you stronger. It didn't kill you. And you now have the opportunity to expand and improve on the design. That's a blessing. Not everybody is here. Lord knows I got an ancestor list damn near 2 pages long. Everybody ain't here to say the same. So you don't want to take that for granted, and know that you still have opportunities to do better. And then in you doing better, you're going to help somebody else to do better. Sitting around a campfire, this is the card at the bottom of the deck. Sitting around a campfire or a fire pit can be very relaxing. Everything from the flickering to the light, warmth, smells, and the crackling sounds can help you relax and unwind. Some of y'all are needing a like a bonfire type of situation where you could just sit out back somewhere, or on the, I know they have it where you can do that on the beach. They have, like, I know in Destin, they have a service you can rent where they'll come out and set up a bonfire for you. It could be like an intimate thing between two people or a group of people or whatever. And you're just needing to connect with fire because there are things that you're passionate about. There may be even people that you're passionate about, but you're not knowing how to work with that fire within you. And like I said, what you don't want is this stress to make that fire get out of hand and out of control. If you're familiar with the energy of fire, once it catches a hold to something else, it's just gonna spread. So you want to better contain your fire and be cognizant of how you are using it. And by fire, I don't mean physical fire. I mean your internal fire, your passions, your emotions. Well, your emotions is your water, but definitely your passions. And it was something else I was gonna say, but it didn't escape my mind. But yeah, so if you are able to like go in your backyard and start a little bonfire, a little contained fire type of situation, just do that and sit with it. And then, like I always tell y'all, especially at the time of the full moon, write a list of the things that you want to release and burn it. Throw it in there. Get rid of it. That is you manifesting the release of those energies. So if it's people, yeah, that ain't going to kill them. It's just going to get them out your life. Get them out your system. Help you cut those cords. If it's things that you're holding on to from your past or whatever the case, that's going to help you energetically start that process or move that process further along. So for self-care, damn, what done flew out already? Okay, I'm taking these. Without shuffling them, that card just fell off the top of the deck before I could even get the cards out the box. And what fell out was sing, represented by the number 45, which breaks down to a 9. And we know by now that 9s are all about closing out cycles because you need to speak up. Sing like a motherfucking canary. You getting on my nerves. You getting on my nerves. I ain't taking your shit no more. I don't fool with you. Don't call me. Like, whatever. You did me wrong. Whatever the case. Like, you need to speak up. You know what I'm saying? This ain't talking about singing a song. Even though that may help you feel better, you know. But what it's really saying is you need to speak up for yourself. You need to start talking. Top of the deck. Intuition. Represented by the number 28, which breaks down to a 10. Because your intuition is trying to lead you to new beginnings. So you definitely want to tap into your third eye. Take that time to meditate. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the messages of the songs and the signs and synchronicities that are coming to you. Because that is you tapping into your third eye and your intuition trying to lead you in the right direction. Your intuition is trying to lead you toward what's at the bottom of the deck, and that's dance. Represented by the number 18, which gives you what? Another 9. Closing out that cycle of karmic connections and karmic energies and repeating the same cycles of low vibrational energy and repeating the same lessons and moving forward into something worth dancing and celebrating. Your intuition is trying to lead you to something worth celebrating. But we gotta cut these karmic ties, y'all. And when I say we, I mean me too. I've been wearing, I don't got it on right now, but ever since that last message in the Divine Feminine reading, I've been wearing my gold sheen black obsidian bracelet more because just working on that doing that shadow work, working on the negative thoughts, the doubts, the fears. I have them just like y'all, you know what I'm saying? But I pull out my tools, you know what I'm saying? I pull out my tools when I feel those low vibrational energies rising up and trying to take a hold of what it is that I'm trying to move toward. And I'm very mindful of protecting my energy, who I have around me, what I'm watching, what I'm putting in my body. Here lately, I don't eat a lot of meat because the ascension process is not allowing it. my body receiving it and responding to it differently. I am mindful of how long I'm talking to certain people, how often I'm talking to certain people, what we talking about. It's just time out for the fool la la. You know what I'm saying? It's time out for being reckless with our energy. We need to honor ourselves better and know that we are worthy of high vibrational connections and experiences, and that we have a charge and a calling on our life to step deeper into our life purpose. So I hope the message found y'all well. If it didn't find you well, I hope that it leaves you well. And I'm going to work on getting this long ass video uploaded. If you would like a personal reading, in the meantime, email me at turquoisemajesty@gmail.com. And don't forget to like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Tell a friend to tell a friend about what's going on over here with Turquoise Majesty. Catch me on these streets at the 50 million gazillion events that I am scheduled to set up for or at. And with that being said, y'all, peace.